our dearmost, beloved, compassionate queen of everything. She's not only the queen of our hearts and our lives, but the queen of my Govinda Dev's heart and life, and the life and soul of all of Vrindavan and all of us Vaishnavas, somehow or other. Govinda Maharaj has said so many times that we are simply trying to follow in those footsteps, following the path of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's lineage and associates. So it was, this is a piece of Maha that have been keeping close to me ever since I got it. Feels protective, and it feels encouraging and strengthening and enlivening. So without further ado, Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Recently, I was thinking about so many instructions in connection with our spiritual masters, my own spiritual master, and one of the first instructions he ever gave me was honor your Maha, which that was kind of paraphrasing. Basically what happened was I was holding a cookie in my hand and I asked him a question. And my Guru Maharaj said the first thing he said actually was, eat your Maha. And I've been trying to hold on to that instruction for a long time, which is when you get Mahaprasad, honor it. Sometimes we think, oh, I'll put it to the side, I'll keep it for later, I will do this or this or this. And the first instruction my Guru Maharaj gave me was honor your Maha. So when I received Maha, I tried to somehow or other honor it. And I was thinking about how often we hear about the nectar of Krishna's lips in Bhagavatam. And this can seem a little esoteric, but we start hearing about it even from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it is all over Bhagavatam, and it can seem esoteric because we are entering into a realm of devotion where God is radically personal, extremely personal, and having an extremely personal relationship with each and every one of us. And so we have heard about the nectar of Sri Krishna's lips, even from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. We've heard about even the lip touch of Krishna from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And sometimes we can think, how can I get that? How is that available to me? One small jiva, literally I'm a small human, living in New York City, far away from any places of pilgrimage, and we seem forlorn and forsaken and in the deep dark well of material nature, because really New York is it seems like it is the personification of the deep dark well of material existence. Everybody who comes here, no matter where they come from, they say New York is very intense. The modes of material nature are constantly assailing you wherever you go, whatever you're doing, however you are trying to maintain your life. And then we wonder, where is the solace? Where is our protection? Where is the oasis within this desert? Where do we find shelter? Where is there some relief? And we have the pages of Sri Bhagavad Gita. And for us, Bhagavad Gita is no different than the nectar of Sri Krishna's lips, receiving that nectar emanating directly from the mouth of Sri Krishna to all of us, to give us some hope, to give us some solace. So if any of us have ever been feeling as though my mind is reeling, I have no idea which way is up or down, I don't know which way to turn, I don't know where to go, I don't know what to do, I don't know how to continue on in this life. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing or the wrong thing or something in between. I'm lost. Who do I turn to for help? Who will be there to listen to me when I absolutely am in desperate need of guidance? And this is exactly what Arjuna is saying to Krishna. Oh Govinda, my mind is reeling. This bow, which is my constant companion, is slipping from my hands. I've known this bow better than I've known my own breath. I've practiced with this bow in the daytime, in the nighttime. I can shoot arrows with either hand. Arjuna was so proficient, ambidextrous. It did not matter. If you were fighting him in the daytime, it did not matter. He was going to be the best. And if you were fighting him at night, it did not matter. He was going to be the best because he practiced to do so. And now, my limbs are trembling. My mouth is drying up. I feel completely sick to my stomach. What do I do now? Where do I turn to? And our wonderful Krishna simply says, fix your attention here. Just look at me. Don't worry about everything else. Don't worry about anyone else. Because Arjuna has a big worry. All of my elders, all of the people, all of the rule makers are on the other side, and they are going to tell me that I'm wrong. What do I do? And Krishna's reminding him, just fix your attention here. Somehow fix your attention on me and do it anyway. But Krishna, what does that mean? Does that mean that everyone could be wrong about me? Sometimes. And I think that is such a difficult thing to grapple with. Do we ever feel like that is a very difficult thing to grapple with when everyone who seems to have your back, or they should have your back, or all of those, when it seems as though it's like this is the complete wrong impression of you. And Arjuna's wondering, could they all be wrong about me? I mean, I've been taught from the very beginning of my life to simply go along with what they're telling me. And somehow Krishna is saying, just fix your attention here. Come back. Bring your mind back here to this moment. So when my dear brother Ananda is saying, Ekadashi is a time we can make a pit stop and reflect. It can feel like a pit stop. We take a moment. We reassess. We reflect. Can we bring our focus back? And it might feel like a pit stop materially, but spiritually, it's like a time warp. And we've quantum leaped all the way ahead. But somehow or other, the question is constant. Can we bring our attention back? Can we focus on Krishna once again? Because somehow or other, the trials and the tribulations will be there. The conceptions and misconceptions will be there. Everybody will have their point of view. Do we allow the mind to win in that moment? The mind that says, You know what? Handle it all yourself. Think of a way out yourself. Don't depend on anyone else, not even that Krishna. After all, what has he done for you lately? After all, has he really been there for you every day? We have to bring the mind back. Wait, mind. I understand. You might be speaking out of fear. You might be speaking out of the rebellious nature, not to surrender. Because if we surrender, then what happens? There's so much to be afraid of in surrender. Will it all actually work out? Because Arjuna is wondering, will it all actually work out the way Krishna is telling me it's going to work out? Wait, mind. Just wait for a moment. Let's conduct an experiment. Can we focus here again? Can we bring the mind back to the lotus feet of our lords? And in doing so, we'll remember that they actually have been there for us all along. Bhagavad Gita 2:7 is one of my favorite verses because I like to chant it in times when I'm confused, which feels like every day. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me somehow or other. If we can get to the place of, now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. I'm begging you, tell me for certain. Because we know our Lord loves to speak in riddles and give us answers that we sometimes have no idea what to do with. So Arjuna is asking him, don't be confusing. Don't speak like an oracle. Tell me for certain. Tell me whatever it is, and somehow or other, I will try to align my life with that instruction. Tell me what you desire. As my friend, as my protector, as my maintainer, as my advisor, as my everything. O Krishna. And Krishna was so often referred to as Arjuna Sakha. Now he is celebrated as Parthasarathi. His friendship is so deep that it is confusing to other devotees. Hanuman famously says in the pages of Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he tells Narada, he says, go and see the Yadus, go and see the Pandavas. They are somehow or other so dear to the Supreme Lord that he will do anything for them. And Narada says, no problem, come with me. Hanuman says, no, I can't go with you. The ways of Sri Krishna are very confusing, and I'm just a monkey. Better that I stay here on my little island, performing my puja to my Lord Ram, who I know. I know him, and I know his ways. But this Krishna is very confusing. He will become the charioteer of his devotees. He will become their messenger. He lays down every single opulence of his just to become the dearest order carrier of his devotees. That I don't quite understand. And so rather than to upset that mood, better that I stay here. So our Krishna is so confusing because he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula and everyone else in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who somehow have some idea of his awe and majesty that he is not conquered by that awe and reverence at all, and is simply somehow conquered with love. A simplistic love, a love without pretense, a love without duplicity, a love that is willing to surrender everything, even our ideas of ourselves. And we find that this happens. We get into a service and we think maybe before the service, I would never do this, or I would never be like this, or I would never become this type of person, or I would never be able to perform a certain type of service. And then we get into the seva, and somehow Krishna has us doing things we never thought we would do, doing things we never thought we could do. Our Shri Krishna has us somehow engaged, somehow or other. So sorry, I got sidetracked because someone was showing a very long view of a deceased living entity bird. And I'm not sure how someone's not supposed to get sidetracked by that. I offer my prayers for that departed soul. And fun fact, if you chant the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna Goda, since you were the one that showed it, that's now your job. You have to chant the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita for that departed soul. And it releases them from any and all hellish conditions. In the pages of the Gita Mahatmya, Lord Shiva is telling the goddess Parvati, his wife, the glories of all the different chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And that 3rd chapter releases so many living entities from hellish conditions of life. I promise you it works. I've tried it, I've done it, and I have seen actual tangible results. So now, Krishna Goda, I pray that you will be able to go and at some point chant that 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita for that departed soul. There's never a moment without service, actually. We can always be engaged if we so desire. And for all of us who might be thinking about departed souls or souls that are still on this earth and in some sort of hellish condition of life, we can chant the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita later today for any and all of them. And so prayer is actually our greatest superpower and the greatest offering that we could give for anyone, anywhere, at any time. So somehow or other, Krishna puts us into situations that we never thought that we would be in. Arjuna is in situations that he never thought that he would be in. And somehow or other, when we give ourselves up to simply following Krishna's plan, going with Krishna's plan, miracles happen. Krishna lays down all of his opulence and majesty. He lays down even his identity as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and says, just think of me. Just think of me here with 2 arms as your dear friend. That is all I want. That is all you want. Just think of me. Offer your heart to me. And I will personally carry the burden of everything that you will need, material, spiritually, emotionally, all of the above. Krishna promises to personally carry the burden. And there is one beautiful story that I love that I will speak about before I open it up for others to tell some of their favorite things about Bhagavad Gita on this day. Because I do feel that Bhagavad Gita is invented for all of us. Bhagavad Gita has invented so that Krishna can remind us of the nectar of his lips. Nectar that is had by very few personalities. We hear about the conch shell of Krishna. And just by the association with Krishna, that conch shell seemed to take on a reddish glow. This conch shell was made beautiful and immortal just by the close proximity to Krishna and the nectar of Krishna's lips. So imagine if we always stayed so close to Bhagavad Gita, how incredibly beautiful we would become just by the close proximity to the nectar of Sri Krishna's lips. So, once there was a Brahmin by the name of Arjunacharya. And he was incredibly poverty stricken. So poor that between him and his wife, they had like one good cloth. And when she had to go out to perform some duties outside of the house, she would take the good cloth and he would wear the holy cloths that they had. And when he had to go out for madhukari or begging, he would take the good cloth and she would wear the holy cloths that they had. And so just between the two of them, they only had one good cloth. And he would subsist on whatever he would get by the mercy of the Lord. But he was fully convinced that the Lord is my friend and I am living off of his mercy. And he would study Bhagavad Gita every day. And he was reading and studying Bhagavad Gita all the time, and he came to the verse in Bhagavad Gita, to those who constantly meditate upon me unceasingly with devotion, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Yogakshemam vahamyaham. And he looked at this verse and he thought, vahamyaham, I'll carry. He's the Supreme Lord. This is not possible. Maybe he'll make some arrangements, but the Lord's not going to carry. What? He's our Lord. What is he carrying for us? And so with his pen, he scratched out 3 times this vahamyaham and wrote karomi, karamyaham. And then he went about his day. He had to go for madhukari. He took the one good cloth. He went out of the house. And his wife was waiting for her husband to return. And sometime later, there was a big knock on the door. Who could be coming now? And she opened the door, and there were 2 boys there. And they were carrying big baskets of fruits and grains, all kinds of things. One was dark, one was light, but their arms were full. And the littler one, the younger one, a little darker, he's carrying this basket on his head. Oh, Mata, please, 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 take all of these goods. She thought, who are you? Where have you come from? Oh, we are friends of your husband, and we brought all of these goods for you, and there's so much here, we can hardly carry it, but please, 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 take all of it immediately. Well, okay, you're friends of my husband, no problem. And she starts to take the goods, and she's thinking, this is more than we can use even in a month. She says, I will cook a great feast, and still there will be no dent in all of these goods. She says, if you are friends, you should stay. Please stay and take this meal with myself and my husband when he returns. These little boys, their eyes turn large with fear. They said, no, we have to go immediately. She thought, where are you going? I'm going to cook a great feast with all of the goods that you brought personally. No, we can't stay. You see, we're good friends of your husband, but he's very hard-hearted. She thought, my husband? He doesn't even have any enemies. How could he be hard-hearted? And the younger boy said, well, we met him, and he was very harsh to us, especially me. Just look at my back. And he turned around. There were deep gouges in his back, and the wife thought, oh, how could he? How could he have assaulted such tender young boys? She thought, okay, well, if you think you have to go, then you better go. And they said, yes, we have to go immediately. And they left, and she cooked. And when Arjunacharya came home, he saw that there was an incredible aroma coming from his house. He thought, I didn't even come back from Madhukari. Where is this aroma coming from? And as he entered his dilapidated hut, because they only had one good cloth between them, his wife had cooked an incredible feast, filled with preparation after preparation after preparation, and the aroma was coming from every direction. He thought, oh, Devi, what a feast you have cooked today. She said, stay away from me. I'm sorry, Devi, have you taken leave of your senses? What's happening? No, this is not for you. He thinks, well, if it's not for me, then who is it for? She says, I'll eat it all myself. You are hard-hearted and you are harsh, and I thought you were a very kind Brahmana, and I was wrong all of these years. Well, tell me what happened. She said, well, 2 boys came and they were carrying all of these goods. We have more than we could use in over a month. And they brought all of this. And I asked them to stay and meet you. They said they were good friends of yours, but they said, no, they can't meet you. You're very harsh. And one boy, he turned around and he had deep gouges in his back. How could you? They were such tender young boys. They were so sweet. They melted my heart. I felt completely captivated by them. But you are so hard-hearted that you mistreated them. How dare you? Arjunacharya thought, I didn't meet anybody. What is she saying? Not only did I not meet anybody, I didn't remember getting into any tussle or fight with anybody that I could have assaulted somebody. He's thinking deep gouges in the back. And he goes into his room. And there, what catches his eye is his Bhagavad Gita, where he had crossed out Vaham Yaham, I carry. And he had instead put in his own interpretation, Karom Yaham, I will make arrangements. And he asked, oh Devi, these boys were carrying the goods? Yes, carrying, on their heads. This Arjunacharya thought, what have I done? I somehow thought that what my Lord spoke was somehow exaggeration. I thought that my Lord would not personally carry anything for his devotees. I thought maybe he'll make some arrangement. What have I done? And he began to repent sorely. And he very carefully reestablished the word Vaham Yaham, I carry. Yogakshemam Vaham Yaham. So our Supreme Lord is exactly like this. There's nothing that he says that is exaggeration. And if he says that he will personally carry for the devotee, then he means it. Ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paripasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vaham yaham. Vahami, I carry. So our Lord will always carry what we lack and preserve what we have. And if he has to do it personally, he will come with more than we could ever need, more than we could ever use, even within a month. And that is one of my favorite verses of Sri Bhagavad Gita. Along with so many others, there are many, many, many others. That is one of my favorite verses, along with the verse that says that in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution, and a little advancement on the path is enough to save a living entity from the most dangerous type of fear. So we've spoken about Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 7, where Arjuna begs Krishna, tell me for certain what is best for me. We've spoken about Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, text 22, Yogakshemam Vaham Yaham. Our Lord, my best friend, will carry whatever we need. If we just fix our attention here, keep bringing our attention back to Krishna. Don't listen to the mind which wants to tell you Krishna won't do it for you. He'll make some arrangements, but he won't personally carry, not for you. Who do you think you are that our Lord will personally carry for you? But our Lord will. He promises. And we've spoken about Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 40, which says that a little endeavor, just a little endeavor on this path, there's no loss, no diminution. Whatever Ekadashi you have fasted for, this benefit will stay with you for lifetime after lifetime after lifetime and beyond. Never will it leave you. The blessings of Ekadashi Devi will never ever leave you. And she promises that even she will personally protect those devotees. So these austerity days like Ekadashi are incredibly important for us. This is our shield. This is our kavacha. We now have the kavacha of the Supreme Lord. Ekadashi Devi is a warrior princess that we spoke about last time, who was there to protect even the Supreme Lord himself. What greater protection could we have? What greater protection could we ask for? And we have Krishna's promises from Bhagavad Gita. In this endeavor, there is no loss, no diminution. It never lessens. Simply a little advancement. Just try your best. Do a little bit. And that is enough to save us from the greatest type of fear. That greatest type of fear is somehow being left stranded in this material world. No raft, no boat. Instead, now, we have the boat, the transcendental lotus feet, name, fame, form, qualities, pastimes of our Supreme Personality of Godhead. We have the boat of the instructions of our spiritual masters, carried on the favorable winds of Krishna's pastimes. If we can somehow allow ourselves to surrender to it, then Krishna promises that crossing this ocean becomes no more difficult than jumping over a puddle. The amount of water that can fit into a calf's footprint, not even a fully grown cow. Calves are smaller. No more than jumping over enough water that can fit into the hoof print of a calf. This is our Krishna, ready to always engage us, somehow empower us to do things we never thought we could do, never thought we would do, ready to send us out with messages of good tidings, saying, guess what? Our friend has come just for you. Our friend has come just to fulfill these desires that you have. Our friend has come just to uplift you, and through you, our friend has come to uplift so many other living entities. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Shri Radha Murlidhara Shri Gaura Chandra ki jai, Shri Ekadashi Devi ki jai. Thank you so much for bearing with me.
Shri Acyuta Gopi Devi Dasi ki jai. Thank you, wonderful class. Thank you for leaving time for interaction. Okay, who wants to speak? Please go ahead. Share a reflection or a testimony. Bhima Prabhu, you look like an oracle. That, hey, you speak like one. Devotee oracle, Bhima Prabhu.
This is actually my breakfast for a Codicy. Does this pass? Is hay okay? Hay is okay, right?
Hay is perfectly fine.
Who will get all that pious credit from you? Who are you going to pass it on to?
The horses.
I'm keeping it. Nobody else needs it but me. Jesus, are you serious? I'm not giving that away.
Nice.
Don't even suggest it.
Okay, Adipusha Prabhu is beaming with light of Bhagavatam. Does he have a reflection?
All right, Krishna, you can hear us okay?
Yeah.
When I hear from Mataji, I keep thinking, yeah, I want to be a devotee. I want to be like her when I grow up. So we want to thank you for such a wonderful presentation. All right, Krishna.
Okay, we'll take it, Adipusha Prabhu. Acyuta Gopi, a question. We are struggling. At least I am struggling. And sometimes when I really need help, I'm thinking of Krishna smiling. And I'm like, Krishna, I'm really hurting here. Why this smile? Why can't you just, help me? Why can't you just be straightforward? Why those riddles? Why those situations? Why those realizations and tests? Why can't you just tell me what to do and help me do it, and we'll be square, Krishna. So how to process that kind of thinking, what to do with it? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Actually, Kapila Dev advises the yogi to meditate on the transcendental smile of the Lord, which can dry up an ocean of tears. So, from Srimad Bhagavatam itself, this is going to be Krishna's reaction. If we think about any time the Brijabasis are in trouble, the first thing Krishna does is he smiles. There's a forest fire, and they're all thinking, "Oh Krishna, Krishna Mahabhagho, help, help, Mahabhaho, oh mighty armed Krishna, oh Ram, help!" And Krishna looks and he smiles. Krishna's on a battlefield. Arjuna is saying, "I can't do any of this. I am having a grade A freak out, panic attack, anxiety attack. I am sure I'm going to die." Krishna smiles. In the midst of the armies, in the midst of a battle, just at the precipice of fighting the greatest battle that has ever been fought, Krishna is going to smile. So Gaur Govinda Maharaj would remind us that if you don't want somebody who's going to speak in riddles and be crooked, you're worshiping the wrong person. Krishna stands in beautiful threefold bending. He stands crookedly. His actions are elusive. His smile is even crooked. His heart is crooked. So many places. So if we want a straightforward answer, you're going to have to pray to Lord Ram or something, because Krishna, these are the answers he gives. This is his wonderful personality. And somehow or other, even when I think, I need a straightforward answer, Krishna. No, but actually, answer in whatever way you think is best. Somehow his answers are so enchanting, so heartrending, so captivating. They melt everything within us. Krishna somehow handles everything all at once, even in his own interestingly roundabout manner. I can't give up my Krishna, no matter what. And so many of our great acharyas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he may trample me as he likes, or embrace me if he feels like, but somehow or other, I cannot give up this Krishna. There is something about Krishna that keeps us running back no matter what. Oh Krishna, almighty armed. And I'll just keep on reciting Bhagavad Gita 2:7 and hoping. I feel confused by your equivocal instructions. Please tell me unequivocally what I should do now. Please tell me for certain what is best. Don't confuse me, even though I know he's probably going to confuse me. But somehow I can't help but run back to that smiling face of Krishna, because if Krishna is smiling, somehow or other he has a plan for me. It must work out. May take some time, but somehow or other it must work out, because my Krishna has promised with that same smiling face. Arjuna, declare it boldly. My devotee never perishes. Somehow he has to make a way. And so, unfortunately, I don't have any hope for you. I wish I could have a hopeful situation where I could say, you know what? Yes, Krishna will be serious. No, that's not our Krishna. That's not our Krishna. Even when he's running in fear from Mother Yashoda, by the time she catches him and she wants to bind him and she wants to do all of these things, and he looks and he smiles. And then the minute she turns her back, he smiles. And then he goes on to do something even more naughty, pulling down trees, doing all of the, he smiles. What can we say? This is how Krishna treats his very own people. So, if he's smiling, maybe that's an indicator that Krishna has maybe accepted us as his very own people. Maybe in the midst of our distress, no matter what, Krishna has accepted us as his very own people. And all we can do is follow in the footsteps of Draupadi and call out, "Hey Govinda, hey Acyuta, oh my Krishna, please help." Because Srila Prabhupada has told us from Nectar of Devotion, Krishna says, just when I think about Draupadi's calling out to me in full surrender, I become more and more indebted to her, thinking of that with every moment. Krishna is somehow indebted to us because we need his help. So that smile, Krishna's remembering, my devotees need me. That smile is, I've been waiting for this moment and now finally you've come. So let him keep smiling. Bhima Prabhu, tell us something.
What about the smile he gave Markandeya Rishi when Markandeya Rishi said, "Let me just see the material world"? Tell us what happened to Markandeya Rishi. And then Krishna smiled. Markandeya Rishi said, "I will take one boon. Let me see the extent of your material creation." And Krishna smiled. And then tell us what happened.
Yeah, it was a little bit like what happened with Arjuna. Arjuna says, I want to see everything. Krishna says, I don't think so. And Arjuna says, no, I really want to see everything. Of course, Krishna smiles, okay. And Markandeya Rishi, just like Arjuna, is praying, then take it back, never mind, take it back. But he also got to see little baby Krishna, Vatapatra Shai, laying on a banyan leaf. Of course, then it's terrifying because now he feels like he's entering into the mouth of this whole entire thing. And what is happening? This creation is too big. That was an ill-advised benediction to ask for. And Markandeya Rishi also realizes that, never mind, I can't even compute any of this. Let me just remember that you are Shri Krishna, who will lay down all of this opulence and majesty. And Arjuna is similarly remembering, never mind, I will never. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says in commentary to Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna thinks, I will never ask for this ever again. I will never ask to see the extent of your majesty ever again. Just take it away, never to be remembered ever again. And Krishna is always coaxing us with that smile. Just remember me like this. 2 arms, as your best friend, always working for your benefit. So sometimes, yeah, we can heed the smile of Krishna. Sometimes that smile is an instruction of, I don't think you really want this. And sometimes we can listen. You know what, Krishna? Maybe you're right. Maybe that smile is right. Maybe I don't want all of this. Let me just remember that I have everything I could ever want or need or ask for in that smile. In that mysterious, confusing, enigmatic, oracle-like smile is everything we could ever want. Let me not cross out of that bound and think that I know better. Let me not desire to see all of it because I can't even compute any of it. Let me just remember you as you are, here, my dearest friend, smiling always.
Isn't this same curiosity and desire to leave the association of Krishna's world and Krishna personally? Isn't that the same desire when we come to the material world? We say, Prabhupada said, Krishna says, don't. And then we insist, and then Krishna lets us. Is it the same?
That's what I feel. Unfortunately, yes, it is my same plight. And Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna begs the jiva 3 times, don't go, don't go, don't go. And many days I think, how could I? What was I thinking? Just whatever happens in my life, let me not have those thoughts. Whether I'm right or wrong or otherwise, let me not have those thoughts. So now our Krishna, every time a conch shell blows, our Krishna is saying, come back.
Jai, thank you. Acyuta Gopi, wonderful class. Thank you. Again, the Q&A session was so much more than we could have asked for, as always. You can ask Acyuta Gopi anything and you'll get a perfect Shastric answer. Thank you. Okay, darshan time. Please turn on your cameras.
Shri Radha Murida Guru Chandan Bhagavan ki, Shri Prabhupada ki.
Jai, Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Afterglow. Acyuta Gopi, if you have a few minutes, please stay. We may have something. Okay, thank you. All right, Karen, would you like to speak? I haven't spoken in a long time, Karen. Isaiah speaks every day, but what about you?
Okay. Well, I just have to say that the first thing I heard was totally relatable in the moment of having that, sorry, the echo was distracting. That, what you're, just
You're speaking like an
how-
oracle.
like, just like what is going on? Everything is out of control, and how do I move forward like that? So, that was really kind of helpful guidance, I guess, that I needed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable how Acyuta Gopi reconciled our out of control freak out situation with Krishna's smile, right? I'd never thought of it that way. It perfectly, it's the right response to our situation, Krishna's smile. I can't think of any other response from God, right? Oh yeah, this situation is so grave, yeah. No, Krishna's gonna smile. Yeah.
Yeah, you say, Krishna, come, take me out of here, or make this all go away, and he just smiles. I'm not down with it. That's why I'm still here in the material. I ask him to make things better, or at least get me out of here, and he says, no, you got some time left on your sentence here,
Yeah,
and you're
you
gonna
got some
serve it.
service to do. Yeah,
You're gonna
you got some
serve it.
service to do. Yeah, you serve your term.
Also, one more thing is I know I had put in the chat, the group chat, the WhatsApp chat, I mean, about that we lost our cat last week. And I was kind of just, I don't know, a lot still. And Acyuta Gopi was there to help me put some of my ashes in the Ganga last year. And I still didn't know, like, just because I don't know. I didn't know the proper verses or whatever. So I just quickly looked them up and said some for my cat. And it was nice that the bird kind of thing that happened on the call, where now, like, I made note of those things that you mentioned. And I literally just picked up my cat from the crematory yesterday, which was the same crematory that I brought my mother to, which was a little bit strange. So yeah. So thank you for that too. It was a big one.
Yeah, that third
Hare Krishna.
chapter. That third chapter does wonders, incredible wonders, and it really does work. And it works for people even living through hellish conditions. So it's not that you have to wait till the person is gone,
Mm.
or they've left that body in order to chant it. And so if there's somebody really going through a rough time that you know of, you can chant the third chapter for them also. And just the translations, it takes about 12 minutes. It doesn't take that long.
Thanks,
And it's
Sarah.
always available on the Vedabase online. So you can go and just, all it takes, so many of these stories from the Gita Mahatmya, all it takes is the faith. All it takes is that overarching, insurmountable faith that Krishna said, so this will work. And then it does.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Jeffrey Eckler looks so grave. Are you thinking of the crematorium? You thinking maybe that's the crematorium I will go, Jeffrey Eckler? Was that the thought? That was my thought. Yeah.
I did find that point interesting. I didn't realize, due to my own ignorance, that you could use the same crematorium for a human and an animal.
Okay, sorry. I just want to clarify. It is a separate facility, but I didn't totally realize it was the same one when I called up and followed the GPS there. I was like, oh, it's familiar.
Horrible. No, I was thinking, Arjun, approaches Krishna and he says, what do I do? I can't wrap my head around this. What do I do? And expects at that point an answer or some sort of guidance. But he is going through a tough time, and he's facing a very tough kind of decision. But then at a point, Arjuna is like, well, maybe it will help me to see the universal form of God. And then when he sees it, he's like, please make this stop. And so the fact that in the beginning he's going through this very difficult time and he's like, well, what should I do? He's not like, hey, Krishna, please make this stop. But when he tries to see the universal form in some way that's going to enlighten him or enliven him or give him an answer, he just wants it to end. So it's the hellish condition. Yeah, we want it to stop, or we want to know what we should do about it or whatever. But at the same time, the absolute presence of God is something that we would want, according to the Gita, to end. because we wouldn't be able to handle that either. So, this pendulum swings very far in both directions. And at any extremity of it, we are unable to handle it. So it's just, I don't even know if this is a complete thought, but I'm just thinking that that's sort of evidence, at least to me, that winding up somewhere in the middle where we're kind of constitutionally assigned is the place where we should wind up, because the evidence in the Shastra is that we want to escape the hellish condition, or at least have a quick answer on how to get out of it. And in the, divine presence of God, with the ability to see it, we don't want that either.
However, what I really love is that if that were the end of it, Bhagavad Gita would have ended there. It doesn't end there. And so that universal form, and Srila Prabhupada speaks about it even in Srimad Bhagavatam, that universal form is not the end all be all. It's like, I want to see the sun, and you just can't get behind the sunlight, right? The sunlight part is too powerful. It's like, I'm being blinded, make it stop. And we haven't actually even seen the sun yet, right? We haven't seen the sun planet or the person that resides there. We're just still stuck with this blinding rays. And so this is what Arjuna is asking to stop. Stop with this covering effulgence. Put away the blinding rays that are so harsh. Let me see the person who is behind there that I actually really wanted to see. And Lord Shiva says in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, he says, if I could ask for one benediction, then my Lord, it is this: I wish to see your form, but I wish to see the form of yours that is beloved and worshipped by your devotees. So for me, that divine presence, if that was the end all be all, the Bhagavad Gita would have ended right then. Chapter 10, 11 would have been done. But we have several chapters after that. And Krishna is reminding us, don't focus on that. That's not the form. Focus on me. You've been seeing me all along. Don't forget, I've been giving you this from the start. It's like, I don't know, anybody ever get really deep in with like Merlin and all kinds of folklore, and you get a really powerful magician, but they're so powerful, but they can't tie their shoes. They have to like work backwards to work back down. So that's, it almost feels like this is what's happening. Krishna's like, I've given you the highest thing. I've turned down the effulgence. I've lowered everything. I've put all my guards down. I'm letting you see me as I am, as no one else. Like, this is a really intimate view I'm giving you. And then we're like, well, what's it like when you go to work? And it's like, well, okay. And then we're like, wait, I don't want to see that. Srila Prabhupada always uses the example of the judge. You get this judge who can be so harsh at work, and they get home and they're just a grandfather, children riding on the back, all the things. And you're like, this is the same person? Like, how do we reconcile this? And so Krishna's constantly letting us know, I've let you in on the biggest secret in the entire creation. Don't backtrack now. And we're constantly like, but I should be able to make sense of this. Krishna's like, you can't. Don't try. And Arjuna and Markandeya Rishi, all of the acharyas are saying, don't try to make sense of it. We tried, and we are the greatest minds in the universe. It doesn't.
Can you move a little bit? Can you move?
So it's like, don't try to make sense of it. Just accept that Krishna is giving you the most intimate view ever. Run with that most intimate view, and don't let anything else get in your heart. Gopakumar spends place after place after place thinking, wow, this is what Krishna's like for some people. This is what Lord Narayan is like for some people. But somehow or other, in my heart is Madan Gopal, who plays with cows and steals butter, and his mother just worries about him. And somehow or other, I cannot get that vision out of my heart. So we don't have to think that anything is missing. And yes, we are supposed to want to end this hellish existence quickly, because that's why it's set up. It is set up as a reformatory place so that we remember, oh, right, I had that desire. I wanted to be big boss, and Krishna told me, don't go, don't go, don't go. And I said, let me do it anyway because I know better. Let me remember that this is a hellish existence really brought about by my own mind. This mind is really the enemy that I'm fighting. This mind that at any moment will say, but is this really all there is? Maybe we should intellectualize it further. And Krishna is telling Arjuna, you cannot intellectualize it. Trust me. You can't intellectualize it. You can't smart your way through it. You can't learn your way through it, but you can love me through it. Then I have to take away all the other things and I have to give you myself. So those universal forms, I take comfort in knowing that behind all of that is my Krishna, and he gave us himself immediately.
Thank you, Acyuta Gopi. Bhima Prabhu, you are unmuted. You wanted to speak? Oh,
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, we heard all the curse and everything.
Did you hear me cursing at the horse went right up over me because it's raining out and he wants to get out and he just went right over me. You're allowed to curse.
Yeah.
You know, on Ekadashis, your horses do very interesting things, Bhima Prabhu.
Really? I'll have to pay attention to this day in particular. I thought it was every day. They are rescues, and they're rescues because they're misbehaved, because they've injured or put a rider in danger. So I decided that I would be the hero and put myself in danger all the time. That way I can always remember Krishna in the form of death.
Or, you know, those horses that are like the senses, and any which one of them could put a rider in danger, but somehow you've decided to be the example of Bhagavad Gita for all of us, using the intelligence as the ultimate rider and saying, okay, no problem. I'm going to take Krishna as my best friend.
No, this ranch is called the Out of Control Ranch, and that's because I'm out of control and they're out of control, and we get along just fine. I forgot what I was going to say. It's not nearly as important as what you say, Prabhujini. I think that the big thing here is that Krishna, what is it? In Indian folklore, American Indian folklore, you had the fox, what's it called? Not the jester, the trickster, right? You know this, Acyuta Gopi, in poetics, in Indian folklore, they have the trickster king, and the trickster is actually God in the form of a fox. And he tricks these people who are either up to no good, or maybe after a wife, or something that they need to learn a lesson. And the trickster always convinces them in the form of a fox to do something wily or do something, and then they learn their lesson. So for those of us who cannot simply just read the Bhagavad Gita and bow down, but need to learn it, experience it, you can't write if you can't relate. The idea, that adorable idea that Krishna is tricking us at every moment, even though it hurts, especially in the material, even though it can hurt sometimes, if we can step back far enough and just remember, like you said, his smile, and to realize that everything's going to be okay, and that this is just all part of the game, it's all part of the test, it's all part of the education. Thank you very much, Prabhujini. Hare Krishna.
Prabhujini is the title.
What is it? What is Prabhujini? What did you say, Chirikopi?
Prabhujini is my favorite title.
Yeah. Okay, Anandi.
Oh, I just, oops.
Anandi Devi, please unmute yourself. Or it was just oops. Didn't want to speak? She wanted to speak. Okay. Let's see.
She usually has something really good to say.
Yeah. We love Anandi. Okay, well, Anandi is unmuting herself. Acyuta Gopi, what's the remedy for high blood pressure? Or Krishna Gaude's question? Yeah, blood pressure, yeah. High blood pressure. What's the remedy, please?
I'm not a doctor. You're not going to get me to incriminate myself on this here morning show.
Okay, I've unmuted myself. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Anandi.
Okay, Acyuta Gopi, thank you so much for telling us about the Gita Mahatmya and chapter 3. I was just wondering if you could share some direct experiences of reading chapter 3 for just to inspire me a little more. I'm intrigued. I just want to know of it working.
Yeah. That's kind of personal story, but it does
I'm
work.
sorry.
It did work.
What's today? Wednesday, right? I can go on either side today. I'll go here.
Suffice it to say, there was someone I know that was going through really intense situation, and they were kind of feeling a little hopeless, thinking, have I not been devoted my whole life? How could this have happened? Maybe I was lax in my services. How? How could this have ever happened? And it was a very big issue that happened. And it's like one of those issues where like overnight you lose everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, okay, I heard from Gita Mahatmya that chanting this third chapter can free anybody from hellish condition of life. And I chanted it. And I chanted it with faith. And within a month, everything was restored better than before.
Wow.
In a way that we couldn't, like in a way that you can't even ask for. You know how you don't even have the wherewithal to ask for all the things that you need, but Krishna knows. And so I saw it with my own eyes, own experience, that it actually really, really does work. And all it takes is just a little bit of faith.
Yes, that's a great book, by the way. Thank you for telling me about it. Not a lot of people know about it. I was just in Alachua and I met a lot of women who were widowed like me, and I told them about reading chapter 3. But I also, I read chapter 2 now because it says there that, a lion could sit with like a goat and, be peaceful. So I read that so I have some peace in my house. And I read chapter 12 because it's also supposed to be good for departed. But I don't know, I can't sort of access in sequence all the chapters and their benefits. But the good thing about it is that, I was struck. I mean, the grief after losing your spouse is terrible. You can understand all the philosophy in the world. It doesn't help always. But getting me to read the Bhagavad Gita is somehow really helping me. So, and then, after a while, you realize you should read all the chapters because they all have benefits. Right.
That's the trick, that's the trick of it. The trick of it is some sugar candy. Here, look at this benefit. Just read this one chapter. And it does work. Oh, look at this benefit. Read this one chapter. Oh, look at this benefit. It'll give you mystical powers. Just read this one chapter. It's chapter 16. You can have all the benefits, all the powers you want. You want to become an oracle, a mystical person? Here, read this one. And then next thing you know, you're reading Bhagavad Gita every day.
Yes. I mean, and also, I had another question on Gita Jayanti. Is there a special thing other than reading all the chapters that one should do? I mean, it's a Kaddashi, and, it seems to be like a double powerful day.
Yeah. As far as I know, you can worship the Bhagavad Gita. You can light a lamp for the Bhagavad Gita.
Oh,
You can
okay.
read. Yeah. You can really, really every Gita Jayanti, I try to embrace more and more the fact that the Bhagavad Gita is this partial expansion of Krishna, which means a person.
Right.
This is Krishna entering into my life and entering into my home and entering into every day that I choose to bring Krishna into that day. So I would say on Gita Jayanti, really embrace Bhagavad Gita as a person. With that, with an almost crazy amount of faith. You ever think to have that much faith? It's like people are gonna think I'm crazy, you know, it's gonna be a little absurd. Yeah, have an absurd amount of faith. Have a crazy amount of faith. Have an amount of faith that it when people look at you like, wow, they really took that literally. Yes.
Mhm.
Take it so literally, because that's how Krishna's working for us. If Arjuna Acharya can see that Yogakshemam Vahamyaham does not mean Karomyaham, not that he will just make arrangements, but he will personally carry. Because it is a person. And when he scratched out those lines on the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna is appearing with scratches, gouges on his own back, saying, I don't know, this person is very hard.
Yes. And
So
somebody,
we
you know,
can
a different take on the Bhagavad Gita. Somebody gave a lecture in Pune about the 18 questions that Arjuna asked.
Mm.
You know, just meditating, question after question after question. It gave me a new perspective on the Bhagavad Gita, you know, just to look at it that way.
What I
So,
also about Bhagavad Gita is at the end, Krishna says, so are your doubts dispelled now? And the implication is, if somehow they are not, our friend would sit there for however long it took to dispel those doubts.
right.
He's willing to speak again and again to Arjuna. And Arjuna says, after, he says, just remembering somehow the conversations that I would have with my Krishna, remembering the words he spoke to me at Bhagavad Gita, those words, just remembering that is somehow how I'm maintaining my life. How can I maintain my life in my Krishna's absence? But Arjuna is holding tight to these words of Bhagavad Gita, and this is all that he has and all that he wants. And we have that same Bhagavad Gita.
Yes. Thank you. I look forward to every Ekadashi just to listen to you. I just want you to know that. And thank you. Not everybody knew about that chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita. Really, even Alachua, like I was telling devotees and they were looking at me like, and I was like, it's really true. It's really true. Got to read. You lost your husband, read chapter 3 for him. Yeah. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Thank you, Prabhus and Prabhujinis. Thank you very much. We're going to wrap up this yagya. Acyuta Gopi, thank you so much for dispelling our doubts, at least for the duration of this class. That's how I feel. And I'm looking at my shoes and I'm thinking, are these the shoes in which I'll be put in my crematorium thing? Yeah.
You can't take
Okay.
them with you.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Karen, bring him on. Where is he? Where's our favorite reciter, favorite oracle? Thank you. Thank you, Isaiah the oracle. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Love you.